You may be seated.
If you keep your nose.
Got my back there, huh?
Hello, fellow Rotarians. Today's song is This Little Light of Mine. And I want you to sing it fine like I know you can. Let's go.
That puts a smile on my face, that's for sure. I would like to welcome Bob Brown to the podium here where he will inspire us. Bob is our co-treasurer. He takes care of the back end side of the books with all the quick books and accounting. And Dennis Clare does all the dirty work up front, collecting your money.
Dirty work. He has to deal with us. It's dirty work.
Well, I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving last week. My wife and I, Karen, we were very excited because first time in about 4 or 5 years, I think, that all 3 of our kids were able to join us. And you know, they're all in their 20s, so now they actually think that we know something. So, you know, so they said, Dad, now that you're old, you know, can you give us some of the learnings that you come across over the course of your distinguished life and career?
Right, that's what they said.
And so I did, and I thought I'd share those with all of you as well. Just so the fixed cost gets amortized over a larger base. So I said, the more you weigh, the harder you are to kidnap. So stay safe and eat more cake. Life is not like a fairy tale. If you lose your shoe at midnight, it usually means you're drunk. Scared when you see a spider in your room. Be scared when it disappears under your pillow. Like many things in life, you need to understand the difference between wants and needs. For example, I want good abs, but I need tacos. The best way to remember your spouse's birthday is to forget it once. Some say that nothing is impossible, but I've done a lot of nothing, so it's certainly possible. Gatorade plus bacon plus Excedrin is the best hangover cure.
One more time.
Gatorade, bacon, Excedrin. Never fall in love with a tennis player. Love means nothing to them. Don't make snow angels in a dog park. Now, at this point in the process, I said to myself, so these are great, these aren't really relevant to the normal daily activities of my children. So I came up with this, I dug deep, came up with a second reservoir of knowledge. And this is actually much more applicable to my children. No matter how nice the hand soap smells, never walk out of a public restroom sniffing your finger. Stir coconut oil into your kale because it makes it easier to scrape the whole dish into the garbage. When you're a senior in high school, do not join senior dating sites. If you find a toilet in your dream, do not use it. If you swim with a friend, your chances of getting eaten by a shark drop by 50%. And don't lick the bowl, just flush it like a normal person. So all joking aside, I actually told them two things. I said, always find a reason to laugh. It may not add years to your life, but it will certainly add life to your years. And the second one is, no one is paying much attention to what you do. So do what you want and do what makes you.
Thank you. That was fantastic, Bob.
Good job, Bob.
This is the time when we welcome those busy Rotarians and Zoomers and everything. Oh, do we have any Zoomers?
There's somebody that's trying. Yeah, it looks like Dick Stafford.
Dick Stafford. Just say hello to Dick on Zoom.
Dick, say hello to everyone.
Hey, how are you? How is everybody? Bill, I'm late, but I'd like a couple of minutes just to talk about this event, if I can do that.
Fire away.
Hey, he didn't have an agenda or anything.
What's that? No agenda? Anyway, as you probably know, traditionally, our Rotary Club has been involved with an event at the Senior Center for the holidays. And this year we're doing one. We're having to be very creative because of all of the COVID concerns, but we're having an event, and I think you may have gotten some information, hopefully from Steve Baker, asking about any folks that could volunteer to help with the program. It will be next Thursday from 2:30 to 4 o'clock at the Senior Center. It's called the Holiday Stroll, and it's going to be outside, socially distant, the way it has to be. And what we're needing is about 5 or so volunteers that can help greet the seniors when they arrive, kind of show them to where their seats will be and explain a little bit what's happening at the event if they're not familiar with it. And then help a little bit with the setup and the cleanup. There's not a whole lot of that to be done with. So again, I'm asking if I can get, I'm saying 4 or 5, the total number of people that were to be involved was 100, but with the COVID stuff flaring up again, it's going to be considerably less than that, I think. So any of you who are willing to step up and do that, again, it's this next Thursday. From the event itself is from 2:30 to 4, but we'd like people to show up a little bit ahead and maybe have a few stay a little later to help out. So please, again, I'm asking for a few of you to step up. Contact me, 925-351-8860, or Steve Baker. He's helping out to try to identify some of these people. Short notice, but we've had to make a lot of changes along the way just to have any kind of an event at all. So again, that's it. If you could contact me, that'd be great. And thanks, Bill. Sorry for interrupting, but I really appreciate the opportunity to talk about this.
All right, thanks, Dick. I would like to welcome the visiting Rotarians. I know there's at least one.
Before we do that, were there hands raised to volunteer?
Raise your hand if you'd like to volunteer for serving at that event.
Yeah, could somebody get those names and get them to me? That'd be great.
Steve's got
He's
it.
got them.
Yeah,
Okay.
forward them as soon as you can. And I will be sending out more details about specific assignments and so forth once I get names. Thank you.
Thanks. Are we ready? Visiting Rotarians, we're ready. Bob,
From
please.
the Rotary Club of Dublin. In the classification of
Electrical contract.
Bob.
Cockney.
Hello, fellow Rotarians.
Guests of Rotarians, Mr. Wheeler. Yeah, with a mouthful of food.
It gives me great pleasure to introduce to you this fine young man, which I call him my better second son, Nolan. Nolan.
Welcome, Nolan. Did I miss any other visitors? Okay. Guests of Rotarians, we already covered. This next part is going to be a little difficult for me because I know this is going to make his head really good. But we're going to honor our November Rotarian of the Month. Now, this person put in an extraordinary amount of service and work and attention to detail to make sure that we pulled off the most successful spirit run that we could possibly run. And so our November Rotarian of the Month, winning this very nice pin, is Larry Amos. Larry, please come up here and accept it. Please come up here, Larry.
How about that, Larry? For all the time and energy you put in, you get a pen.
You get a pin, and you get to wear it with pride when you attend our events. As a Rotarian of the Month, and a very exclusive group of people. And with that, this is a great segue. Larry's going to give us a little recap about the spirit run.
Well, thank you. Yeah, and thank you all for that honor. I appreciate it. I wanted to give you a quick recap of the spirit run. And the first thing I want to do.
Weren't we all there?
Into the mic.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Thank you. The first thing I want to do is make sure that all the sponsors know how much we so much appreciate their sponsorship. Without them, we could hold a run, but without the sponsorship, we don't have the funds to give the money out. So I want to make sure that I name them. I brought the list up so I don't forget someone like I did before. I want to thank John Sentapa, probably the 6th or 8th year, John. Long time, a lot of money, so we appreciate it very, very much.
4 more years.
Yeah, 4 more years. But not you, not me. Amy Leon Studio, Julio is here. Thank you so much, Julio. Salmon Yang and Alameda, Kathy, our wonderful Heritage Bank of Commerce, through Marjorie Wong Gilmer, who I guess is not here today. So thank you. Heritage Bank of Commerce. Our Mario Holmes, is Deanna here? Deanna and Brianna have really stepped up and did a wonderful job, not only sponsoring, but being on the sponsorship committee as well. So let's give a hand for our Mario Holmes. Our old standby Brian Gentry at Fremont Bank. Brian, are you here? Well, please give a round of applause to Brian. Not only does he give a generous contribution, but he provides us with the water for the runners at the end of the race as well. So we appreciate that very much. Martin Warner and Eisner, Martin Gordon and Eisner. Eric Martin was our event sponsor as well. So thank you, Eric. He's not here. QA Source was our Kids Challenge sponsor. I frankly don't know anything about them, but they've been a sponsor for a couple, 3 years now. So thank you to QA Source. And the last is Service Champions, was a Benny sponsor. So Kevin Comerford and Service Champions. So thank you. Additionally, a little bit quicker, our gold sponsors were Holistic Lifestyle, Baker Financial, Steve Baker, thank you. Monterey Private Wealth, Gary Alt, Sunshine Saloon for the first time. We had our Thursday last month. The Hall Law Group, thank you, Dan Hall. Keir Wright, and Workbench True Value, Fred Nicanjo. So thank you for our gold sponsors as well. So basically, the bottom line is this. I've introduced my wonderful staff before. I'm not going to introduce them again. They know how much I greatly appreciate what they have done. Our net proceeds were about $55,000 net. I don't know where that sits with the past 28 years, but I suspect it's up there pretty high. So thank you for that. The number of runners were 727, which is almost 50% higher than 2019 and higher than 2018, about the same as 2017. So hopefully we're back into the swing of things. My main goal was to try to get our club back up, running again, out in the community, and become active again. And I hope that you have felt that we have succeeded to do that one way, shape, or form. So anyway, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
It's so
Now
hard
it's
to
time
give you
for our
serious applause.
Rotary International video. Ricky, are you ready for that?
Yep.
It's titled Make a World of Difference.
Go for it. Thank you, Ricky. I'd like to invite Victoria to introduce the program.
See you all. I would like a distinct pleasure to introduce our church, First Valley, as an ambassador, and to the Dynamo. And now she's doing dynamic things as the new executive director of the Alameda County Fair Foundation. So welcome, Valerie. Look forward to meeting you.
Let me get it up. It's not up yet. Give me a second.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for having me here today. Thanks for the invitation, Steve. My name is Valerie Shirk. I am the new executive director of the Alameda County Fair Foundation. I started just back in August. And I've been having a great time, and I am really excited about some of the things that we're doing with the foundation. And I'm looking forward to telling you about what the Fair Foundation is doing to bring agriculture education to Alameda County. Sure this thing is working here. You don't need to see that. Okay, so the Alameda County Fair Foundation is a support organization, our own nonprofit. We support the Alameda County Fair. Our mission is to keep the fair alive and relevant for generations to come. And the way we do that is by bringing programs and projects to bring agriculture education to the youth of Alameda County. So that is what we're all about. I actually just today, I was talking to some of you about the importance of agriculture, and you know, farms actually have really important lessons to teach people. And here in suburbia, we're lucky enough to be on the edge, but we're so far from agriculture centers that we really miss out on some of the lessons that farms have to teach us. In fact, so what are some of those things that a farm can offer to us and specifically to our children? The first is experiential hands-on learning. Like the time you having a field trip, we actually know from research that this is incredibly motivating and inspiring to students. Interacting with animals. So research also shows that students interacting with animals actually have a lower stress level. Gardening. How many of you have a garden at home, grow your own vegetables? Does it help you appreciate what farmers actually do to bring food to our supermarket, right? That the natural systems that actually feed us are kind of more complicated than we sometimes appreciate. And then finally, students visiting farms could actually expand their worldview, see other ways that they could make a difference in the world or pursue other careers. Here's the problem, right? We agree that farms are important to students, but it's pretty challenging to bring that kind of experience to students, especially in the city, but even here in Pleasanton. Communities, there are a handful of school gardens. I know that there's one at Harvest Park and Walnut Grove right here in Pleasanton. The parents and students love them, but so many schools don't have the space or the staff or the funding to maintain a school garden. The other thing is that most schools aren't going to have access to the latest in agriculture technology, right? They'll be lucky if they have a plot of soil and maybe a handful of plants. And then, of course, a major part of agriculture is livestock. And I challenge you to show me an elementary school that has their own pigs or even chickens. It's not going to happen. So we know that there's a challenge here. But imagine a place that could offer hands-on experience with crops and livestock and actually those ecosystems. Imagine a place that can expose kids to the latest in agriculture technology, the way that our food and actually fiber is brought to our growing population. Imagine a place that can demonstrate what a difference it makes when we apply water conservation and energy conservation practices. A place that teaches kids about pollinators and what the bees need to do in order to help our food grow. Imagine a place that can inspire students to pursue careers, developing the next innovations in farming and agriculture technology. Well, that's exactly what we want to do right here. The Alameda County Fair Foundation is fundraising to build an educational farm right here on the Alameda County Fairgrounds. So why here on the fairgrounds? Why does this make sense? We're actually uniquely positioned where we are right here in Pleasanton with access to technology. We are adjacent to an agricultural area where the heritage of agriculture is so important to us with Livermore and here in Pleasanton. And we are close to a population of students who could really benefit from the education that a farm can bring. I mean, imagine students maybe in Oakland getting to get close to a cow. Last I checked, you can't drive down the road in Oakland and see a cow by the side of the road, but you can here in Pleasanton. So we have this plan to build a farm here on the fairgrounds. I'd love to go into a little bit of detail about what this farm can include. Of course, there are a lot of different things that we can teach as part of the curriculum and programming for our farm. In addition to the obvious plant and animal science, there are a lot of lessons we can teach in technology and innovation. The innovation that goes into agriculture technology these days is very exciting when it comes to engineering and technology. We can also teach about health and nutrition. One of my favorite features of the farm we're planning is in our classrooms, we will have a demonstration kitchen. So not only can kids learn where their food comes from, but even how to prepare it in interesting and helpful ways. The second section is the living features. We'll have an actual working farm, with actual plants and animals. So we're hoping to have a hen house and hatchery, dairy cows, horses, pigs. We're talking about having a beehive. All of these can be part of the living features, in addition to, of course, fruit and nut trees, crops. And one thing we'd like to focus on is the agricultural heritage of this area and grow hops and vineyards and orchards. In fact, in elementary school, kids learn about that this whole area was hop yards as far as the eye could see. Show me a third grader who actually knows what hops looks like coming out of the ground. They learn that, oh, we grow hops, and they don't even know what it is. So wouldn't it be great if they could actually interact with it and see it and touch it and actually understand a piece of the agricultural heritage of this area? The thing that's also very exciting about the farm is the state-of-the-art facilities that we have planned. We plan to start with actually renovating an existing structure on the fairgrounds to create a modern barn. This will include things like a modern milking parlor to show kids how does their milk get from the cow to the carton. It's actually not a stool and a bucket, right? With a cow, it's far more efficient than that, and we want to be able to show kids how it's actually done. Other features will include, I mentioned the classrooms, the design for these classrooms, these garage doors to bring the outside in, and as I mentioned, a demonstration kitchen. There's a greenhouse. There's a lab, including planting tables where kids can actually get their hands dirty. And there's a central gathering place and pavilion where we can actually hold events and teaching events right in the middle of the farm. So how are we going to make this great place happen? The Alameda County Fair Foundation is embarking on a major capital campaign to raise the funds that we need to build. We're planning on doing this in multiple phases. We are planning on seeking corporate sponsorships, individual donors. Of course, we'll be looking at grants and hopefully finding some in-kind donations as well. The other thing I want to mention is that our community support is really important to the Fair Foundation. We appreciate our donors. We actually have a heritage membership program. So right now, for a $250 or $500 annual donation, we're part of the heritage membership program. We have VIP events and gifts, and we have this sort of support base of donors who really are excited about the mission of the farm and what we're trying to accomplish. So you might be wondering, all right, what's next? You have all these great plans. Where is it? Well, so far we have 2 acres of land dedicated to the farm. In fact, if you come to the fair, you'll know it as Ag Venture Park. It's where we have the pig races, and this year we had the petting zoo. That whole area is where the farm will be. And in fact, the farm was designed to accommodate the pig races in the future. So the horse paddock was designed to fit that U-shaped track for the pig races in the future. We do have high-level architecture plans, engineering site surveys being completed. We're ready to move into the next phase, which is the capital campaign. We're gearing up specifically for phase 1 to raise money for the barn I mentioned and paddock. So I would invite all of you to check out our website at AlamadaCountyFairFoundation.org. If you're really excited to become a heritage member, you can do that right now with our QR code. But more than anything, I would really invite you to check out our website. There's a whole section about the farm that goes into more detail about what we have planned, images and videos and fly-throughs of what this can look like, and actually why it's important to our community and to bring agriculture education to the kids of Alameda County. Are there any questions? Yes.
I had the pleasure of growing up here in Pleasanton, had a wonderful childhood. We were a very rural agricultural town at that point. Many of the students belong to 4-H or future farmers. Are any of those organizations around? I know Bob Brown was involved with something like that, but are any of those organizations around? And if so, how do you interface them?
Of course, those organizations are still around and they are still a part of some of the events that we have at the fair. Specifically, they're not yet involved in our efforts for the farm because we're actually hoping to address agriculture education even more broadly than within those organizations. The idea is for this to be a field trip destination so that school groups can come to the farm and everyone can learn about agriculture, not just those groups. It's not to say that we'll exclude them, of course, from discussions. And in fact, I'm hoping that some of those organizations can be involved, especially as we determine what our programming and education programming will look like. Yes, you have a question.
How big of a staff and annual budget is going to be required to maintain this facility?
Well, so the thing about the foundation is that we are a support organization for the fair. And so we have been asked to fundraise to build a farm. And so that is what we are trying to do. The foundation will continue to fundraise for educational programs and any specific needs that we might have. One thing we've been talking about is busing, for instance. Can we get kids here from San Leandro? Can we get kids here from Oakland? Do we need to provide transportation? As for operational costs, that is really, the answer is it depends. Depending on whether we run the farm year round when we begin, or if we start with just a seasonal farm. But that is something that will be determined how much we do will be determined based on the budget at the time. But that will really be largely part of the fair's decision to make.
So it's open-ended.
Yes, the operational costs can vary pretty widely depending on how many classrooms we want to get through the farm initially. And I think that it's reasonable to expect that we'll start smaller and work our way up.
Well, if it's a farm, aren't you going to have to maintain it year round?
Yes, of
How
course.
big of staff will be required?
That I think will be part of the fairgrounds maintenance budget. Yes.
Is the agricultural program going to be the sole or primary focus of the Fair Foundation?
The Fair Foundation's mission is about programs for youth education. The farm is absolutely our first major endeavor, but it will not be the only endeavor for the foundation in the future. We're hoping to build the farm and then continue to fundraise for other programs that might make sense for agriculture education. Did that answer your question?
Pretty much.
Okay. You can ask it again.
Building the facility, has that been costed out yet? And maybe what that is going to take from a funding perspective to know what facilities going for.
We do. We have high level estimates right now. We're doing an engineering project, the engineering site survey to kind of dig into the details to make sure like, oh, we don't have to move this pipe or something. But right now we are looking at around, again, high level estimate, $8 million all told. Our first phase, we're looking at 1.5 million to build the remodel barn and paddock. And then probably our next fundraising phase will be around that same size in order to build that central pavilion and the all of the actual planting and planting space. We want to actually get that done early on in the project so that the plants get established.
One of the greatest things was provided by the fairgrounds, the donation of property and land. That was really kind of try to offset this, allowed them to be able to handle this $8 million facility in place. And the operational costs are still, the vague on the question is, it just hasn't been defined on. We know that there's going to be an operational cost, just whose obligation is going to be performed by the foundation. Are they going to raise that money and run that? Most likely not. If the fairgrounds would fall partially. But really, the benefit of them donating the 2 acres and then all the support of the staff, all the support of the fairground, facilities and access that they have really offsets this cost, so it can be an affordable project. To get kids involved, really it's about kids involved in ag and agriculture and understanding what's going on in the community and what opportunities lie for them that aren't really provided for them now.
That's exactly right. I think the thing to emphasize is that the Fair Foundation and the Fair are closely partnered and working together because we're all on the same page with wanting this to happen.
So does that 8 million include the beer and wine?
It doesn't, but as a matter of fact, one of the things that we're hoping to achieve is in-kind donations from businesses that actually want to show how their technology works. We'd love to actually get the milking parlor donated by someone who actually builds that equipment, right? And there's no reason we couldn't do the same with processing hops, although I suppose we'll have to consider how that fits in with California curriculum.
It's really surprising they don't know what hops is at a young age because they've never had beer.
And that's the funny thing is that they do. They learn about hops in school. They're all told in 3rd grade, this area was all hops. But
What's hops?
And what's hops?
Well, they can't have a beer till 18, so
But I mean, we have a street called Hopper going right down the middle of town. So it is, clearly that's an example, but I think it's a real one that field trips aren't as common as they used to be. And I think that is it's unfortunate for this generation of children, and we want to change that. We want to offer this field trip destination that can actually cover a lot of different things. Like I mentioned, yes, there's the basics, like you can plant your bean sprout, you can look at what hops look like coming out of the ground, or you can interact with animals. And I've heard that other farms that have done this in other counties, in Southern California, the experience of these kids, particularly coming from the inner city and getting a chance to interact with farm animals is life-changing. And in particular, because our emphasis is on this modern high-tech farm, right? Like I said, we're not doing a bucket and a stool to milk cows, right? And a lot of the things we're talking about are more efficient and technologies like grow pods or vertical farming. We can actually demonstrate how drones are part of farming today and kind of make farming a little bit more exciting and a little bit less kind of old-fashioned to kids, right? We can actually not only appeal to what they're interested in, but then also show them how things actually work and how we can make things more sustainable and efficient.
Thank you for that presentation. In addition to
yes, absolutely. I think that we can't, I honestly think we can't teach about modern agriculture without discussing sustainability. And so that is a focus right now for us. And I think as we move ahead, we'll have to be developing what the curriculum looks like. But I think what I can tell you now is that we are building energy conservation right into the architecture for the farm. Every building has a solar canopy planned, and the solar panels are these bifacial solar panels, so they can absorb the energy from both sides. They create a shade and also rain protection, if it ever rains, structure over these demonstration and teaching areas. And it's just part of our plan, right? The roof of the pavilion will be solar panels. So that's one example, but that's kind of how we're thinking about it, is how do we make this modern in a way that shows how we can sustain feeding and clothing our population. Another project that we are planning to integrate is water capture and storage. I love the idea of having instead of a grain silo, let's have a water silo on the farm and capture the rain when we get it so that we can use it when we need it. And so some of those are built right in, and then absolutely I think sustainability will have to be part of the curriculum. Steve?
So I know a number of schools and the ROP program looking for engagement for visits or year-long internships and things like that. So, you're hoping to do this in the future. What do you have to do now in terms of school engagements and getting kids involved and doing visits?
At this point, because we haven't yet broken ground to build the farm, there's really nothing to visit. One thing that we have talked about, and I think that we'll be launching into in more detail, is potentially involving agriculture students at some of the universities in California that focus on this, and maybe see about getting their help in grant writing and helping us with funding. Eventually, I imagine that we will have the opportunity, and in fact, we're planning to have the opportunity for enthusiasts and volunteers and potentially RLP students to be part of putting on the programming in the farm.
I think that anything, this is going to take some time. Anything in the interim to build that community engagement would be great.
I think one of the ways you could do that, because all this is new, that you should look at the old. And Meadowlark Dairy is very prominent, and still it's the only place that's hardly any money relaxed. And I think it'd be very important because that has an attachment to Pleasanton, and everybody, no matter when they move here, use Meadowlark Dairy. I don't know who's left in the family that would be part of that, but we talked, I talked to you earlier about going to the Adobe, and that's where the headline of farming is. So I think it's important that young people know, oh, this is just all techie in the building. They gotta know the hardships of running a farm. And that kind of
The reality.
so I think, we used to have a huge amount of dairies in Pleasanton, because we have a big Swiss heritage too. That was, so I think,
Absolutely, I agree with you, and in fact, that's one of the reasons. I mean, the example I gave was the coffee yards and the vineyards and the heritage, traditional heritage crops, but the whole plan is to tie it in with the agricultural heritage of this area. Not to ignore it, but in fact, use it to kind of make it a more powerful message. In fact, one of the things we've discussed is if you went to the fair this summer, you might have seen the American tractor exhibit. There's a new kind of mini museum that has 4 restored tractors from the 40s and 50s. It's actually located on the fairgrounds adjacent to the site for the farm. And so one idea that we have is when these field trips come and they can sit in the picnic pavilion, they can have their lunch, they can learn about the animals and the plants, they can come and visit the tractor museum. So actually tying, again, the agricultural heritage of our area to kind of the future of farming is something that we want to emphasize. And that's in fact part of our mission as supporting the relevance of the fair for generations to come is exactly what we're trying to do.
In addition to the major funding provided by Black huge round of funding, so I'm excited I've asked for out there.
Good to know. I did meet Monarch Tractor. I don't know if you guys have heard about it. They're basically, self-driving tractors that they actually have out, I think, in the Wente vineyards. They're out working right now.
They have to all take it over there.
And showing kind of that proof of concept. And yes, that is exactly the kind of ag tech that we can teach about alongside of the tractor history. We can teach about this is where we're going. And these are some of the exciting careers that you can get into, right? I mean, this is like the STEM buzzword. In fact, sometimes we like to say that we put the A in STEAM because we put agriculture in science, technology, engineering, math, right? I think it's actually a pretty good fit. So yes, Monarch Tractor is exciting. I haven't talked to them yet, but maybe they'll.
I'm excited about the company. You guys should be following Monarch Tractor. It's going to be big. Could it be big? Joyce, one of the great things is the close relationship old is coming with the new, right? And we a lot of Rome that he's excited about. So we've got a lot of support for this. So I think there will be a lot of tie-in from previous and we'll show that how we got here and then where we're going.
So my question is, how will this, I know now we have the, Alviso Adobe, part of it, as it's called. Will this be at all involved with that? Or are they gonna overlap what they do out there? Are you working with them at all to kind of coordinate what they do over at your facility, what they do at their facility?
At this point, no, we haven't discussed with them directly. We certainly haven't ignored them. It just hasn't come up because we haven't gotten into the details of programming. I think the big difference here is that the Adobe, as far as I know, is part of the city of Pleasanton. And we are really hoping to serve all of Alameda County and even beyond as this pretty exciting destination that can offer a lot of different curriculum options. So I don't know that there's actually overlap. I mean, I know that Pleasanton students go to the Adobe for field trips. I don't, but as far as I know, actually they study more California history and not as much agriculture. They talk about making Adobe bricks and that sort of, I just went on a field trip a couple years ago. They make Adobe bricks and they make candles, and I think that they actually might use a lifestyle, I'm not sure. Anyway, so there's not a ton of overlap. I think that there's enough, there's definitely room for both of us. Plenty to teach. Oh, yes, of course, Bob.
Yeah, I'm going to get up and give a fairground speech for a couple of minutes.
Here, do you want the mic? Bob, do you want the mic?
The first thing I want everyone to know is that we have an active agricultural component on the fairgrounds right now, which was built in front of Supervisor Haggerty. The Mosa Hunt Barn was funded through funds that Scott put together. And on that barn, local students, local kids could learn agriculture. Now, Bob Brown was a big proponent of what we needed because of his daughters that were involved with raising hogs. And there was a proposal also on the city to put a agricultural barn on the Burnell property. Well, Scott put this thing together, and so kids in Pleasanton that are involved in FFA or 4-H that want to raise animals can house them at the hog barn on the fairground property and prepare the animal for showing at the fair and selling the animals and starting all over again. But it allows, I'll use the term city slickers, that don't live on a farm out of Martinsville or some rural area to do this. And that's in operation right now. And so it's an adjunct to this Fair Foundation project of the farm on the project. The other thing I wanted to say is Pleasanton has a unique location right now in the center of biotech, high-tech industry. We probably take in as much venture capital as anybody does in the Bay Area right now. We're the whole valley, as the Tri-Valley Rising report from several years ago and the report last year that was in the Business Times. This is the center of activity. This whole fairgrounds in this city is in the center of activity. And so a project like this in the fairground for education, county-wise, Bay Area-wise, is very important. And I'll stop there. I could go on for hours on this subject.
Well said, Bob.
Thanks, Bob.
Any other questions for me? About the Fair Foundation? I'm out of time. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
We appreciate your talk, Valerie. It's very interesting. We'll bring Dennis up here. He's going to try to give away some money. Look at that.
First number is 960.
Right before you do that, we have an announcement today.
Right before we, but we'll do that in a second. okay?
Sure.
Yes,
We'll
sir.
do the announcement last. You get the last billing.
You get
You
Bill.
hear those numbers, they run to the door.
Thank you, Dr. Phil Whitaker, remind me, there's a red chip in there.
960.
Sandra.
She closed her eyes so she couldn't see, even though she's reaching in a bag.
Not the right one, huh?
Close your eyes again.
976.
There we go.
Chance number 2.
Winner.
Please stay seated. Mr. Wheeler.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. I know you got a lot of me today. I apologize, everybody. That's the way it goes sometimes. All right. December the 16th. Raise your hand if you have signed up for the Christmas party, please. We're almost there, okay? Don't make me chase you down. You met Nolan earlier. We actually have a business to run, but we are spending an immense amount of time chasing cats, okay? So I know you all, like many of you have plans to go out because to come to the event, because every time I drop another email, I get 5 or 6 more people to go, oh, that's right. I haven't signed up for the Christmas party yet, okay? But we need you to get signed up, get it in now. If you have a check or checkbook, give it to Nolan today. Pay if you already signed up. It promises to be an amazing event. We got Don coming with music. We have Christmas carols. We have dancing, dance floor. I mean, all kind of stuff. I got a question tonight about the dress attire. Brad would like it to be black tie, okay, which I can always, I'm always okay? But for this particular event, it doesn't have to be quite black tie, but he would like jacket tie for sure. And he'd like a chance for the ladies to be able to dress up in their thing, because it's been years since we all have really kind of dressed up to go to an event. It's a great opportunity. The DoubleTree is, we're not doing a banquet room. We're doing it out by the pool room. We're inside, but it's beautiful out looking over to their waterfall and such. But it's promised to be beautiful there. The food is going to be filet mignon. They're getting big fat ones, not little skinny ones. And salmon, some filet of salmon. So I'll promise to be great too. But please, you know, it's just going to be about similar to you. Yeah, a little fat. Not quite too fat. Just chunky. So really, if you plan on coming, come. Brad would like to see 100% participation. We have plenty of people coming. It's just about Brad, really. I just want to make this. I think this might be his last Christmas. We don't know. So if you haven't signed up already, please sign up. We don't care how you do it. Do it on the website. Do it in paper. Do it scribbled on a napkin. Then give us your money. Don't make us chase you for the money. Okay? There's numerous ways you can pay. You can by credit card or by cash or by check. All right. So that's it. Anybody have any questions about the event besides you? No. Hell no. We want to just keep it nice and easy. We're trying to make this easy, guys, so we can make it happen. We hope that everybody can come. We hope everybody's having a great holiday. We look forward to seeing you on December 16th. If you know somebody, you can bring a friend too.
So if you haven't signed up, sign up. Bring your checks next week. If you didn't bring your check, the socks and gloves for those of you that brought them, thank you. If you forgot and you're going to bring them next week, thank you to bring them next week. Every Rotarian every year, minimum $25. You got to do it. It's my ask of this year. 100% participation from the club. We're adjourned.